How's it going, rednecks? Today we're out here in my parents' field to pick up a car. Now, a lot of you guys ain't gonna know what that car is, but we'll go over that here in a little bit. Let's get this thing dug out of the weeds and loaded on that there trailer.
You're running on all flats pretty much. Yep, go ahead. Keep going, keep going, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep going. You got a long ways. Oh, that's good. Let it run. Let it run. See how long it'll idle. Don't do nothing else. Just let it idle. I wanna. You can get out. What is it, nasty in there or something? Why is this thing running, dude? Why is it running?
I think it's got a bad fuel pump. Or the fuel's just that bad that it can idle. It doesn't sound bad.
No. This thing should not be running right now. That is so weird.
When we bought it, it wouldn't idle.
No. Oh, it reeks in this thing.
Look at, they ate through right
there. Oh, don't poke on it.
I might have to crank the jack. Go ahead.
I might have to hold the throttle.
I'll go to the brake because I'm telling you right now that ramp's a big decline. I'm going to give it a little helping juice. There you go. Come on. Put it neutral and start it so you don't have to...
Sounds like a V8. All right, I'll be over there. All right, rednecks, after getting this thing unloaded from the trailer, I figured we'd go over what it is. This is a 1990 Pontiac 6000, and the kicker? Factory all-wheel drive. I bought this car for I think $450 almost a year ago with the intentions of doing I have no idea what, but we have the MIG Michigan Gambler 500 coming up. We're going to attempt to run this thing. It's in 2 weeks. We don't know if we're going to run it yet. Unfortunately, I know it might tick some of you car guys off, but this car is not worth saving. The back is bashed in. Transmission does not have overdrive. The interior is trash. This car sat for over 8 years in a field, and it has not fared very well. So we're going to do our best to see what we can do to get this thing running right. We're probably going to have to gut that interior and who knows what else. So sit back and enjoy the show. Well, Rednecks, we made a find in the trunk of the car. There's some glow sticks here. And on the package, I can't read it very well, but right there at the bottom, it says 1996. So we're gonna see if these suckers work. $2.45. So once the sun finishes going down, it's setting right now. Once that finishes going down, we're going to do a quick video at the end of this here video and see if these things work, so stick around till the end. Well, Rednecks, it's getting pretty late. The sun's going down, so I'm going to do a quick video before it gets too dark out here and you guys can't see what we're doing. But we ripped a bunch of crap out of the back, or out of the whole car, I guess, not just the back. The trunk area is pretty cleaned out. We started cleaning the inside. We got it vacuumed out. You can see we started wiping the door panels down and stuff. I'll do a quick video around the interior, and I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow when we got this thing hopefully all cleared out. So, see you then. Well, Rednecks, it's the next day, and we took some time and put this thing up on the hoist so we can take a look at the car. And this is the perfect opportunity to give you guys a look at what makes this car so rare. Alright, before we get to what makes this car super rare, I kind of want to go over the more subtle things, like it has a rear air ride. And right here is your airbag, and then right there's the plug-in, and that's all built into the strut. And if you follow the lines to the back here, the pump is actually underneath the trunk, so right in there is your air pump. Another rear option, if you come to the side, rear disc brake. For a 1990s car, that is pretty cool to have rear disc brake. And another one we have right here is the rear sway bar. Pretty beefy looking sway bar if you ask me, but all built into the cradle. And another thing is the monoleaf. Has a like plastic carbon fiber, I have no idea what, but it is just a single leaf spring that runs across the whole entire back, and that's what your suspension rides off of. And then obviously the rarest option of all would be the all-wheel drive. That is your axle right there, comes out through your spindle, and your diff is packed inside the rear cradle, way up in there. And if you take a look, we'll follow the rear drive shaft all the way to the front to our all-wheel drive transmission, which is going to be equally as rare considering this is all-wheel drive. So that's a whole look of the whole all-wheel drive system, the whole cradle, kind of a whole separate cradle. It's almost like you could unbolt this whole thing as one unit and drop it. So in a second here, we'll go over what makes this car not worth saving. Alright, we're going to start at the front of the car and go over why this car is in such bad shape and why I only paid $450 for it. We'll start with the front cradle. If you take a look, this thing's seen its fair share of ditches. So they've hooked onto the front cradle, pulled it out. She's been hit pretty bad in the front. There's another tow point recovery cut right through with the chain. The caliper over here is actually seized up, and it's because the brake line is damaged, I imagine. I broke the bleeder loose and it freed it up, so It needs front pads and rotors. We're going to just pad slap it for now and see if we can get good enough brake life for what we're doing. If we make our way to the back, the floor is not terrible. This is the only spot we could see right below the driver floor that was punched through. But unfortunately, it took out the brake line. So we're going to have to try and patch that brake line. Now making our way to the back, it starts getting pretty bad. You start noticing the rockers are starting to rust out. And then we get to here. This is where the rear suspension and everything kind of comes off of, and it is just gone. We'll come over here to the passenger side, and it has a little bit more steel to it. You can see that's actually pretty boxed, pretty well off. But once you look up in there, that sucker, there's just no metal left. That's all supposed to be boxed in. I don't know if I can get a good enough angle with the hoist being in the way, but believe me, there is a lot of metal missing there. And as we come to the back, the cat's gone, the exhaust is missing, the rear brakes, they're toast, rear pads are toast, the car and overall is in bad shape. If you take a look in the back, tail light doesn't line up anymore because it was hitting the back as well as the front. So this thing has a lot of problems. It doesn't have overdrive. We're having an idling issue. We think it might be the this thing has two pumps in it because the gas tank humps over top of the drive shaft. We're almost worried that there's really bad gas on the one side because the pump went out and it's mixing with our good gas that we put in it. So we're gonna have to run a tank after tank through this thing. Hopefully we can figure out the running issue. I know there's other things we're missing. The tires are junk. The interior, whew, we ripped a lot of that. That we actually smelled bad. The rats definitely made their home in there after the 7 years of sitting, but we got to rip the carpet out of it. It's just, there's hardly anything in the interior we're saving. We haven't even got to the air box yet, so we're going to start by just simply doing the front brakes, patching that rear brake line. It does have a transmission leak. We think it's just a loose line, so we got a few things we're going to take care of. Then we're going to drop it down and drive it around, and hopefully we can get this thing running again, because you seen earlier in the video yesterday, it died out on us and it does not want to run. So we hooked a few sensors up. There was like throttle position sensor and a few other things that weren't hooked up. So I got my fingers crossed, but I almost have my doubts. So let's see. Well, rednecks, I tell you what, we went redneck on this thing. The brake line for this was only $10, but it wasn't going to be till 5 o'clock till they got it to us. So what I ended up doing is I took the old brake line off, and Tyler happened to have some from a Bonneville from the supercharged engine that he put in the rear Ranger. He put those on. I just had to modify them a bit. I had to do a few cuts on the bracket here. It bolted right on, and I tell you what, I think we're good as new, and for free, it's perfect for this car. So yeah, on to the next project. Well, rednecks, there we go. We have the front all done. We have new pads, and the brake line on the passenger front is fixed. The reason we're not doing the rotors right now is because I'm hoping that they'll kind of clean up, and we're good enough for what we're going to need them to. This car has only got to make it one day, and the reason we're doing the pads is because these things have good pad life, but they're all cracking and breaking. So I have a feeling a few hits of the brakes, these things would be done anyway. So yeah, on to fixing that rear brake line. Well guys, we were going to repair the rear brake lines, but upon further inspection we found out that the bleeders are broke off in the calipers, and we're not going to do calipers on this thing. It's just not worth it. So we made the call. We're cutting out all the brake lines out of this thing, and we're going to cap it off at the reservoir. So and then we're going to hopefully be able to take this thing for a test drive. Alright rednecks, we're back from the parts store, and we got a piece right here, it's a 3/16 brass inverted pipe plug. So we're gonna put this in the master cylinder up front, and that'll cap off the rear brakes. As well as Tyler suggested this. This is like an odor eliminator. It's something you set off inside the car. We're gonna figure out how to plug them vents. We got a pretty funny idea because the heating system, we're not gonna try and take that all apart. You know that's just full of rat crap and all kinds of good stuff. So we're gonna get the car cleaned out here in a little bit, and then we'll set this thing off at night and close all the windows, and hopefully it won't smell like it does right now, because believe me, if we had smell-o-vision, you guys wouldn't be watching right now. So let's get that rear brake line capped off. Rednecks, with everything done, we got the, I put a wishbone in. There's like a wishbone to support the engine from rocking back and forth for torsion. Got that put back in, got the brakes capped off. Tyler is bolting the wheels on, and we had some 2-inch wheel spacers sitting around, so we threw 2-inch wheel spacers all the way around on this. We're gonna drive this thing out, and then we're gonna tackle these rear brake lights, because there's a fuse box that we believe is underneath the dash. We can't get to it very easy on the hoist, and we're done on the hoist anyway, so we're gonna back this thing out into the yard, and we're gonna start working on it again. We gotta cut the carpet out. We got a few other things we gotta do to the interior of this thing, so we're gonna get this thing out and hopefully fix this mess. I hope it's not any of the wiring, because I tell you what, that does not look good. So I'm crossing my fingers on that one. Hopefully it's just a blown fuse.
Yes, sir.
Well, Rednecks, we did not find another fuse box underneath the dash, but what we did find is that the brake light switch was bad. We checked for power going to the brake light switch. We had nothing coming out. And if you take a look inside, right here, there's, I don't know how well you can see that, but that black rod slides in and out inside that brake right there. So I'm gonna try and set my flashlight up. And now if you watch, I'm gonna push the brake pedal in, and that's all it does, is it just has to slide and make contact. So that little black piece right there. So there's a cover right here that goes over top of it, so I have to snap this cover back in place, but that's all that had to happen, is that just needed to be freed up. So pretty easy fix, and I'm happy we found it. So we're gonna get the brake light switch put back together, get the tail lights put back on this thing, and then go take it for a ride. Okay, running lights. Okay, running lights off. Brake lights off. Left turn. Right turn. Turn everything off, and then reverse lights. Everything off. Heck yeah. Dude, this thing will run all day, but you can't drive anywhere.
No.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Go. And almost started opening up once I started going straight, like to the road.
Yeah.
To the road or whatever, straight out. Speedo's not working, I don't think. Maybe that's why it's got such low miles.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Yeah. As soon as you let off, it's like perfect. Like if I let this thing idle, we can do this all day.
Oh yeah, and it runs perfect.
Yep. As soon as you give it just even a little.
We should test it. It sounds like a tractor.
Feels like we're going about the speed of one. We're only moving the throttle like that far. Like it's nothing. I'm just gonna hold it right here and see if it'll give me anything. Come on, baby. Here we
be the slowest car at Hoopty Cross, but we didn't do it.
I won't park it.
To the floor.
Well guys, this is unfortunate. We kind of figured we were going to run into running issues because this thing had a new fuel filter on it, new coils on it, and the guy sold it cheap. Funny thing is it idles all day. It acts like it's a fuel pressure problem, so hopefully we're going to check fuel pressure and that's not it, because that means fuel pump or something else. But I tell you what, this thing idles beautifully, so we're going to start disconnecting sensors, revving it out, see if anything will come of it, and I'll set you guys up on the tripod over there just so you can watch along. So yeah, unfortunately I want to hear this thing scream.
Oh, because technically you're going to add fuel.
Yeah, because we'll add fuel. So go ahead and try and rev it. Fuel problem. Do it again. What is the fuel? I wonder if it's fuel pressure.
Well, Rednecks, as you've seen, we sprayed starting fluid down the intake while Tyler was revving it out, and it came right up, opened right up. So I have a feeling we have a fuel problem, which kind of sucks considering it's got a new fuel filter on it. Plastic line, I don't know if that's factory or not. It looks factory. Hopefully it's not a fuel pump. So I guess first thing we're going to do, I got to go to my house, get a fuel pressure regulator. We're going to throw it on here. It could be the return line is opened. That's a possibility. But first things first, like I said, let's check that fuel pressure and go from there.
At the right PSI.
Well, Rednecks, that's unfortunate. We needed like 45 PSI to run this thing. And as you've seen, I don't know if you can see from the screen, we were spiking up to 50. When I'd hold this thing wide open, it'd run right up to 50. It'd even go to 55. So unfortunately, it is not fuel pressure related. So it's going to be a sensor somewhere. And whew, I don't know what it's going to be. So we're going to screw around with this thing. Once we figure it out, I guess we'll get back to you, because there ain't no point in recording all this. We're just going to be all over the place. And yeah, so when I find it, I'll let you know what we find. All right, Rednecks, we've been chasing this down for a while. I've been checking my 12-volt wires, my 5-volt reference wires. And on the throttle position sensor, the blue wire, actually I'll go over it right now. The white wire is 5-volt reference, the black wire is ground, and the blue wire is your reference back to your computer. Well, I tracked that down, and if you look, a mouse is eating through right here. And there was no connection. So I know my ground wire is good because I checked voltage. So both of these were good. We would have actually had a reference coming out of here, but it would have only made it to right here. So we're going to splice this back together, and I got my fingers crossed once again. That's going to fix our running issue. So we're going to strip that back, get it crimped together, and start praying. Come on, baby. Dang it. Alright. Alright, Rednecks, this is extremely weird. I don't even know what to tell you. We unplugged 2 injectors and ran it on 4 cylinders, shut it off, plugged them back in, didn't run. Then we unplugged them again because you could rev it out with only 4 injectors plugged in. The only 2 we could get at were on the outsides here because all the rest are underneath the upper plenum. And while I was revving it, my buddy plugged him in, and it stayed revving, and I can rev this thing and do whatever I want with. So we're going to do a quick few laps around the pond and see what it does. We have our doubts it's going to keep running. We don't know what it did. We don't know why it did it, but I'm happy. So we're going to start this thing up and go for a run.
Tires run a little bit. I wouldn't say it's fast by any means, but we do have old man Brian driving.
I'm coming in, partner. Let's turn the AC on. I ain't turned forward on this thing. I know, powdered mouse turds. Dude, this thing runs great. Oh. I tried rolling it down, it don't work, unfortunately. Yeah, we got our temp sensor working. There was a broken wire on that, so temp sensor is now working.
Looks like we're overheating.
Does it? Not from here, it ain't. All right, you ready for this raw power? Holding first, and here we go, man.
Holy crap, actually.
Dude!
Go down this straightaway.
All right. Speedo is working.
Is it?
Yeah. That's to the floor.
Ready, second?
Yep. Yep. Wow, it pulls the right a little bit. When I hit the brakes.
It's good.
I smell burning rubber, I think.
Oh, I popped straight to drive. We skipped a gear.
It's hard to pull into first. Ready? To the floor.
I mean, it's not fast.
Oh, we are tearing these tires a new one.
It's alright, these tires are shit.
Woo, they are, yeah, they're garbage.
These are the perfect tires to blow up.
Yep. Think it'll be funny.
Oh god! This is my ear!
Rat nest is falling on us.
Oh, it smells so bad like burning rubber.
It does. You can just smell the burning rubber. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my goodness, rednecks. I don't know what we did. I am so happy. This thing runs amazing. I held first, ran it out. Puts you back a little bit. I don't think the wheel spaces are going to work without cutting the fender wells. I don't know how much I care about this car to cut the fender, so we're going to have to, I guess, to be determined if we're going to be pulling them wheel spaces out, but I don't give a crap. I'm all smiles right now. I am so happy this thing's running, so this is going to be the end of this video. In the next video, we will cover if it's still running, if it's still shifting. The brakes are working better. It's starting to wear through the rust on the front rotors. And we have a bunch of plans for this. So in the next video, it will be gambling 500, I don't even know what you'd call it, trashing this thing and turn it into the vehicle the ABG folks will be proud of. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and get back to work. Non-toxic, high visibility, no heat or spark, instant light, all weather, 12 hours of glow life. Emergency glow sticks. There's your part number, made in the good old US of A. Let's see here, made in Mexico. What the heck? It looks like it expired in 2009. When it gets darker out, we'll take this made in America, made in Mexico some stick and we'll try her out. Quit putting snake skin on my platform. Dude, it's not broken. You want a drink? It's actually packed. Ooh, it smells funny. That's the China packaging facility we're smelling right there. The capsule's in there, so the two things are still separated, so here we go. Gotta break that internal. Dude!
Shake it up. Oh my gosh.
It actually works!
It's actually bright too.
Holy cow, is that bright! Dude, I'll throw it outside, yeah.
Just whip it. You're gonna have to get past the tree.
Just go right here?
Yeah.
Did it?
There's like one ditch out here.
That is definitely bright. I think it said 12 hours. So I guess that shows you how bright it is. It's pitch black out here. I can't see nothing. So I guess in 12 hours. So tomorrow we'll see if that guy's working. Well, rednecks, it's the next day, and yes, the glow stick did not make it the full 12 hours. We actually came out here 13 hours later, and it was doing nothing. So we'll crack open the other one here, and I'll do a video on that when it gets dark out again. This one looks undamaged. Smells funny, but that could be packaging. All right, here we go. Yeah, they're super bright. Yeah, there we go. Just floating in the abyss.